Hey, how's it going? It's February 18th, 2011, and it's 1 in the morning, and I'm just getting a head start on my videos for today. Actually, I just got home from hanging out with some amazing friends, and had an amazing day of doing some workshopping and organizing, and everything turned out so amazingly. Did I say amazing yet? Because it just turned out that way. So it's lots of hard work from lots of people, and I don't know, it's just really nice when you get that buzz from a lot of people kind of focusing and channeling towards something that you really want to succeed. Um, so yeah, kind of, had a couple of beers and such. A couple of beers. And of course I get all Hugh Grantish and start moving my hands a lot, but kind of embracing talking with my hands, and I think it's a very feminine thing or a very me thing. So I used to talk a lot with my hands, and then eventually I was told at some point in my life, like, you probably shouldn't do that. It's pretty effeminate. And of course, trying to be a perfectionist with being a male, I stopped doing things like drinking like that and using my hands and just trying to dumb down my expression as much as possible. So it's kind of nice being able to be a little bit relaxed with using the hands. It's kind of nice having this desk too, because I can use my hands and do that. So, yeah, it's been a great day of, like, my room is so perfect and majestic that I can actually turn the camera to a different angle, and it's just like clean. It's full of clean, so that's nice. And I know where things are now. I'm like, this is where this necklace is if it's not on my neck. It's right here. But I've been trying to keep myself busy because I've been smoke-free for the past few days, and it's caused some anxiety. I'm like, I want to, but at the same time combining my estrogen patch with a nicotine patch, which is what I'm tempted to do, is just causing, would cause too much trauma in my body. So I have to do this cold turkey. So that's something to take into consideration too. If you're going to be taking estrogen, and because after a certain point, the nicotine in large amounts in the bloodstream at the same time with estrogen, as I've been told by many sources, from people, from doctors, from nurses, from sources on the internet, that it can lead to clotting, it can lead to deep vein thrombosis, it can lead to lots of issues with lungs, in your lungs or your heart, and that's just a place I really don't want to go. And I wish I didn't actually pick up this habit, because in probably about another 2.5 months, it would have been 1 year of not smoking, which would have been pretty pimming. So I don't like to use that word, but I just did. So that's what it would have been. And I guess I'll just start all over again, and that's okay. Better to start somewhere than nowhere, right? Yeah, when I get all jittery like this, I'm also kind of thinking about things a lot as well. I every once in a while, like every other 15 seconds, I'm thinking about, my decision to kind of like be the ending of my relationship with Kat, the name that I'd given this person, my pseudonym. And and it's just like, it's like a pretty tough call. It's like, I want to talk about this more. In fact, I saw her this morning, and she dropped off my guitar and some items that I left at her house, which is pretty cool. The day before, I talked on the phone with Kat about, at some point, if you feel like talking about things, I'm here. And kind of the response was like, not just a no, but more like, not right now, and I can't imagine a time right now. at all when I'd be thinking about talking. So it's kind of like, I'm not sure if that'll ever happen. I'm not sure if it's even a good idea at all. But the idea is like respect of like, if this is something that's needed for closure, for understanding, for this or that, I just feel like it's something that I personally would give to somebody at the end of a relationship. Just a little bit of like post-game analysis. Maybe no, obviously not right away, and obviously when I felt like it was right, but I've always felt shut out, in the 2 weeks and even now. Anyways, but I still think about her and think about good times, and I think about wanting to text her and be like, I'm sorry, I've overreacted, and when I look back at things and the way I handled or processed and then carried out my decision, I would say that probably it would have been cooler for me just to like decide and give myself a little bit more time. But at the same time, I wanted like kind of immediate certainty. I wanted some sort of closure. Like, this isn't working. This segment, I'd like to end it. Maybe not the whole thing, but just this segment. And it's just like, can I get an answer for this, and then not getting any closure for this little bit, and having certainty over here, just being like, we're in a state of conflict, but there's not much we can do about it right now, so we're just gonna drop it. We're gonna collectively drop it. But there really wasn't any of that, so it's just like, so I can't have that. I can't even close off this little bit and just be like, we can't come to a decision right now. There's a lot of things going on. We can both just say like, this is that, and drop it. But it always has to be in her language, at her time, at her pace. So I mean, I don't know. It's keep going back and forth, which is really silly. But I don't know. I just don't like the idea of being misled. That's basically like one of the things that I was talking about with my friends, is just the idea of like, people who are quote unquote, I'm not saying that this is the case with Kat, but just, kind of applies, but not really. It's just like people who are coy about their intentions. It's like the decision is, to set up a dynamic where it's in favor of the other person, where their level of attachment is a lot less than your own, and the level of like things received from this relationship just as much as maybe you, but maybe even more. But going to the first condition, how attached are you? And then on my time, on my pace, and when I want to, it's on, it's off. Whereas close, I sense that we could be really like this close, but only when I say so. So in reality, like, you can't actually be this close, So in this condition, in this situation, it's like people, like in my own situation, like I was really eager, very like kind of like discovering a new land. It's just like, this is somewhere new. Like I'm not just dating; I'm dating for the first time in a whole new light, in a whole new perspective. And instead of like kind of embracing the fact that it was absolutely new for me, like that's one of like the commiserations that I was hoping for, but not just commiseration, going beyond that and actually kind of existing, experiencing to some extent this newness and this new experience. And I just don't like it when it's just like, well, this is my 50th time dating, and you're just another person, and in and out, and it's like, But it's just the luck of the draw sometimes. It's what it is. So um, I just prefer open intentions. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna be a player, be the best player. If you're gonna be a jerk, be the best jerk that there is. If you're gonna be nice, and you really are nice, just be nice. But when folks on the opposite end are like not nice or being nice and just giving you the things that you want, it's anyways. So that's it. I mean, there's a lot of good things to look forward to, and kind of taking control over lots of things in my life, which is like another thing that we're all talking about today over dinner, or beers rather, was just this idea of like taking over your life such that you're not apathetic. Whether it's community organizing, whether it's standing up for somebody else, standing up for your own self, standing up for your own ideals. And yeah, and I'm just thinking about how the process of coming out and transitioning. Some people, they want to blend in and do something that direction, and some people want to go towards another direction where it's just the complete opposite and stand out. And for me, it's just like it's a little bit of that and a little bit of this. But I was mentioning to one of my friends who's very open about like immigration status, and for me, like, I know some folks who watch my channel, have different political views than myself, and I'm not trying to bring this into debate, but what I will say is that when face to face with somebody who is being absolutely genuine and open and courageous about who they are in the life that they lead, and the life that they have to lead, and the life that they will lead, it doesn't matter whether it's orientation, immigration status, gender, and whatnot. I mean, that type of courage just speaks to me in such a way that makes me want to come out more, not just in terms of being transgendered, but as a human being that wants to do more in my life. And that's kind of one of the hopes that I have in the videos that I make. And I know that I talk about crushes and 2-week relationships and jobs that suck, and but these are just themes that like everyone, transgender or not, relates to. But in between those lines where it's like it's not about work, it's not about these parts of society that kind of are pillars, but it's the places in between the pillars where you are actually talking to people, where you're walking on the street, where you're with your friends, and the kind of identity that you shape out in public and in private. That to me, like for instance, like thinking, when I was trying to express to somebody, like in the mornings, I'm getting ready, if my decision is to, want to pass, then I'm going to need my time and make sure I get ready. But not only that, I need the time to also feel confident and kind of work myself up, and kind of be strong. And it seems like it's an unnecessary part, but that's kind of the launching point with which my day happens. And then finally I'm out in public, and I'm starting to worry about my voice or this or that. So there's a million thousand dynamics going on, and and it's in those places that I hope to inspire people to be themselves, transgendered or not, or whatever area in your life that you find some sort of level of oppression. And in my own life too, I'm making so many discoveries as well. I'm just realizing that I'm about to go over the 15-minute mark, but the cool thing is, since I now have a full producer account and can record videos longer than 15 minutes, I'm just going to keep going. And so I'm going to keep going and keep talking and hopefully continue this edutainment, education and entertainment. So, learning a lot about when I was in my 2-week relationship, just like going out in public places and holding hands with Kat and kissing or leaning on each other or just pretty much occupying a very close space. I didn't realize sometimes the animosity that I would get from other people or the fear that I would have in my own self. Like suddenly realizing that when people look at me and when people look at Kat and when people look at the two of us together interacting, they're thinking lesbians, lesbian experience. And suddenly I'm like, wow, I'm in a new dynamic. And it's one thing, I'm already thinking about transgendered, like being transgendered, like that's in the forefront, or rather in the background sometimes. And then now in the forefront is like being a lesbian. So it's just like there's that, and then there's this at the same time, and I'm like, whoa, way too much. But at the same time, I'm learning about like the ways with which some general experiences have shown me that people are supportive and people are not, or how I view truly lesbian relationships or same-sex relationships, because it's like I'm realizing that I'm a little bit timid, and that's kind of a thing that I'm actually kind of ashamed to mention, that I'm kind of timid, and part of me is timid because I'm afraid of the animosity from others, and I'm like, but I'm already pushing the gender line. I mean, obviously, like, I've got, like, strength and fortitude, so obviously, like, sexual orientation shouldn't be anything, and it's like, when people think of levels of oppression, they think, like, well, gender's gotta be, like, out of the LGBTQ-ness, like, gender's gotta be the worst, and then sexual orientation, but the truth is, like, being othered, being ostracized for any letter, any part, any characteristic of your identity just doesn't feel good. No matter how strong or comfortable or courageous you are, it's like, it's still unnerving and it's still challenging. So it's like, it's something that I think that, in my next relationship that, I hope to also kind of communicate and keep that dialogue open so that, I can actually have time and a chance to learn from it more so. So, I mean, there's a lot of learning, and I don't know. So, with that, I've said a bunch, and I'm going to peace out and wash my face and maybe grab something to eat. It's my usual routine. It's like, it's kind of funny. Here's a little truth about me if you want a little more details about being transgendered and being me. I like eating in bed, and I love watching StarCraft 2 replays on YouTube. It's the truth. There's just something about that combo, and then occasionally I'll have like some soda or like orange juice. It's just like perfect. I'm like, and this is what I am. I think gender-wise or identity-wise, I just primarily identify as being a geek, and then everything else falls underneath. So, but that's what I'm going to do, and kick these boots off my feet because I'm tired. And much victory earlier today. And so thanks for tuning in for this 20-minute segment of what's happening in my life. 20 minutes. Can you believe that? I've been writing to YouTube 1 letter a month in the hopes that they would upgrade my account. So finally they've listened. Finally they've heard me. So I'm going to take full advantage of it, and this is my first over 15-minute video. So thanks for watching, and peace out. Good night.